Welcome back to SportsCenter. Ashley Brewer, Stage Steele with you. And yep, it is NBA night. We are ready for a big matchup between these two. A brief but busy offseason between these two clubs. The Lakers locked up LeBron James and Anthony Davis to new deals. James signed the richest 2-year deal in NBA history. AD signed a 5-year max. Paul George also got paid this offseason. He signed a 4-year deal with the Clippers at projected value of $176 million. That could grow to $190 million. That's the largest contract in franchise history. Kawhi and the Clippers start over with a new head coach in Tyronn Lue. He replaces Doc Rivers. The Clippers ended last season on a sour note. Remember, they blew that 3-1 conference semi-lead to the Nuggets. And if it wasn't enough, their crosstown rival Lakers won it all last season. And guess what? They're the favorites to win it again for an 18th NBA title this upcoming season. Caesars William Hill lists the Lakers as a heavy favorite to win it all at plus 250. All right, let's go to Twitter now. Wow, ring night, man. It just hit me. Man, oh man. Hate my family, friends, and fans won't be there to witness it. Disappointed face, though. Nevertheless, I can't believe I'm ringing it up again. Hashtag truly blessed, folded hands. Hashtag the kids from Akron. Prince emoji there. He's got some Twitter game if I've ever seen some, but that's going to be a great matchup at Staples Center. And that's where we find our NBA reporter, Dave McMenamin, hanging outside of Staples Center. Dave, give us a sense of what it's going to be like inside the arena tonight as the Lakers get their rings, but there will be no fans in attendance to cheer them on.
Yeah, Ashley, normally for banner number 17, you would see 18,997 fans packing Staples Center, ready to throw adulation and cheers towards their team for their accomplishment last season. Of course, because of the coronavirus pandemic, there won't be any fans here. So you will see the banner hanging up in the rafters, but there's going to be a black cloak covering it. And on that cloak, it says, "Stay tuned, Laker fans." I spoke to Lakers president of business operations, Tim Harris, and he told me that, listen, when I think about a championship, the trophy kind of goes to the ownership. The rings go to the players. The banner, that's for the fans. So we're going to wait until we can get fans back into this building to celebrate them. As for the rings, normally you would see the owner, Jeannie Buss, hand them over to the players. Can't do that because of social distancing. So the players will retrieve them from individual pedestals put on the court.
Wow, strange times, right? They're going to have to wait for the banner. They'll also have to wait for a parade around LA Live. But let's now check in on LeBron. He's going to turn 36 years old next week. How do the Lakers plan on managing his minutes now? It's going to be his 18th NBA season.
Yeah, so he played very sparingly in the preseason. He said he only picked up a basketball 2 or 3 times during the shortened offseason. But certainly he's someone who stays in shape, so he doesn't have to get in shape. Now, Frank Vogel managed his minutes last year. LeBron played kind of an under-the-radar career low in minutes per game on his way to finishing second in the MVP voting. You're going to see him manage his body with the consultation of his longtime trainer, Mike Mancias, also checking in with the coaching staff and the team medical staff. But don't anticipate LeBron all of a sudden starting to sit games just to rest. He's told me over and over again over his career that if I'm healthy, I'm playing. And he has more than just the carrot of winning championships. As long as he's healthy and he's stacking up successful games, he can continue to creep up towards Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time scoring record as yet another feather in his storied cap.
Wow, and with this stacked roster they have, you know they're not letting up. They want yet another title. It begins tonight as the Lakers play the Clippers 10 Eastern at Staples Center. Dave, thanks so much.
We haven't played well. We've lost 2 in a row. We have 3 weeks to turn it around to reach our ultimate goal, which is winning a Super Bowl.
Fumble, the ball comes out. Steelers are putting it on a tee for the Bengals right now.
This is as bad as I've seen the Steelers play all year. These division games are like this. Throw the records out the window. That's not just cliche, that's real.
And you sense something coming now for the Steelers. Josh Bynes comes up.
It's about finishing in the fourth quarter.
Finley will keep it right up the middle. It'll be a great Christmas week here in Cincinnati.
After an 11-0 start, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're struggling through back. Dwayne Haskins apologized today for being seen Sunday night on social media partying with strippers while not wearing a mask. Earlier that day, Haskins started in Washington's loss to Seattle. Haskins could be in violation of NFL COVID-19 protocols. Jim Harbaugh, his future is still uncertain at Michigan, but Don Brown, his defensive coordinator, was dismissed today from the program. A source telling ESPN's Adam Rittenberg after the Wolverines' 2-4 start to the season. Michigan allowed 34.5 points per game this year. Paul Pierce headlines a group of first-time nominees for the next class into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Pierce spent 15 of his 19 NBA seasons with the Celtics, winning a title and Finals MVP in 2008. He was a 10-time All-Star. And history in soccer after Lionel Messi scored his 644th career goal for Barcelona in their La Liga match today. The score allowed Messi to break Pele's all-time record for goals scored with a single club team mark that stood since 1975. And Christmas is Friday, but it came a little early today because we have NBA back. How about that?
It is finally back. 9 days till the end of the year. I think my math is correct.
Yes.
What a better way to wrap things up with the start of a brand spanking new NBA season. What a better way for us to tip things off than with the first meeting between Kevin Durant and his former team, the Golden State Warriors. Lots of storylines here, starting with, he changed teams, moved from one coast to the other. 560 days after his last game, KD is back. According to Elias, that's the longest gap between games by an MVP since Michael Jordan's return to the league in 2001. Came back and went to Washington. Kyrie returns for the Nets after a shoulder injury sidelined him last March after just 20 games with his new club. That means he missed 52 games. That after missing a total of 47 games combined in his previous 3 seasons. Keep an eye on Kyrie. After not playing in the bubble, Stephen Curry's Warriors returned for their first game in 9 months. Curry played just 5 games last season, only one of them in the 2020 calendar year as he recovered from a broken left hand. Steph is out. Steph is in, I should say. Draymond Green is out thanks to a muscle strain in his right foot. But we will get to see rookie James Wiseman, the second overall pick in the draft at the University of Memphis, the 19-year-old 7-footer. Not only are we going to see him, he is starting tonight, his NBA debut. As you may have guessed, though, the biggest storyline, KD facing off against his former team for the first time. Listen.
It's going to be good to see some of my old teammates, good to play against them. But nothing more than that. The game of basketball is always going to have me on that level of wanting to play extremely hard every time I'm out there. Definitely get more comfortable each and every day with playing it. I mean, I've always been comfortable with a basketball in my hands.
The opportunity to be able to play this game and start a new year with high expectations, I'm excited to be back out there. We go through a season like last year. It's tough to sit and watch, but I appreciate every game that I get to play.
Such a baby, we've just started playing together. There's a lot of questions and not a ton of answers. I think we'll figure it out as we go.
We want to prove to ourselves that we're a good team and a playoff team. We have to establish that. We had the worst record in the league last year. We're starting from the bottom. The challenge is to see how quickly we can come together and start winning some games and establish our identity.
So the Nets are 7.5-point favorites to beat the Warriors to open the season. The last time Kevin played his first game against one of his former teams, he dropped 39 against Oklahoma City. That's tied for the second most in a player's first game against a former team in NBA history. That also according to Elias. Malika Andrews is live at Barclays Center for the tip-off of the season. Glad to see you out of your apartment and on the court, Malika, where you belong. This is Kevin Durant's first regular season game in more than a year, as we know. How's he approaching it?
Well, physically on the court stage, Kevin Durant said that he's been using every game starting in the preseason as building blocks. He's trying to just take it one step at a time. And he said on Monday that he doesn't feel like he's quite in mid-season form yet, but that's okay. It's not quite the mid-season. I asked Steve Nash before the game whether or not Kevin Durant will have any explicit minutes restriction tonight. And he told me that no, he won't, but they will be, quote, thoughtful when it comes to how they are using him because he's been through a lot. Despite the fact that he is looking at like he's at an incredibly high level basketball-wise right now, they're trying to be just a little bit careful, a little bit ginger with him. And as you just heard, Kevin Durant said that he's excited to be playing his former team. But I asked him if he thought this game would serve as any sort of closure. And he told me no. If I need one game to have closure on 3 years, then I didn't have a good time there. And that's not the case. So that's how he's approaching this game tonight.
Yeah, that's a great perspective by Kevin. Draymond Green has the foot injury. We're not going to get to see that reunion then between KD and Draymond. There was some bad blood between the two at the end of KD's stint with the Warriors, but they say they've worked it out. Overall, no Draymond, but what are the Warriors expecting to see from Kevin?
Well, they're not expecting him to take it easy on them at all. Yeah. Yesterday, I asked Steve Kerr if he'd had a chance to watch Kevin Durant play at all in the preseason, and he told me that he did watch him when he played against the Boston Celtics and said that he couldn't tell the difference between pre-Achilles injury Kevin Durant and how he's playing now post-Achilles injury. And he told me, Sage, that should be, quote, scary for the rest of the league.
Absolutely. That's the best words, Carrie. By the way, another storyline, new Nets coach Steve Nash was a consultant for the Warriors. So many things to keep an eye on tonight in Brooklyn. Malika Andrews will be there. Glad that you're there, Malika. Thank you so much. In the meantime, we still got a lot more NBA coming up with LeBron and the Lakers' quest for a repeat officially underway tonight. Tim Legler joins us. He's going to measure the gap between the reigning champs and the rest of the league heading into the season.
Developing in the NFL, a pair of developing stories tonight surrounding the Washington football team, which is surprisingly in position to win the NFC East. But one, quarterback Dwayne Haskins could face team discipline after he was seen on social media without a mask while